Now, another thing you might be wondering about is how the assessment is going to work for Physics 263. Physics 263 is a 10 credit module. There will be a 20% compulsory coursework component, and this will be in the form of three different worksheets. The first deadline will be on week 13. So on the first week, you have no deadlines. Second week, you also do not have a deadline for 263. And the first worksheet will be due on Monday of the third week of the module. That worksheet will cover the contents of the first 2 weeks. Make sure you don't get behind, obviously, and that you ask any questions. And the extra optional sessions that I'm setting up should allow you to ask questions. Now, in an ideal world, you would be submitting the coursework box in physics as you did in the long distant past of the pre-COVID conditions. This year, you will be submitting to Moodle. So when you read here, submit to coursework box, in physics, you should be reading submit to Moodle as in your lecture notes. And I'll provide more details in the first intro lecture. It is important to note that because we have the feedback session on Wednesday at 9 a.m., if you ended in later than that, you will get no credit. If you ended in between the deadline of 11 a.m. on Monday and 9 a.m. on Wednesday, you will incur on the penalty of 1 full grade, just like in other modules. And in the feedback sessions, you will get your marked work back on Moodle. I'm going to provide some general feedback. We'll work on anything that's been challenging for most of you. And we might do Kahoots specifically to test your understanding of the contents up to that point. And in the first feedback session, because there will be no worksheet to be entered in, you will obviously not get anything back, but we will focus and try to tailor it to be more of a discussion session and also a workshop, because you will be working on the slightly longer worksheet that is due on week 13. And if you have any questions, please just get in touch. In terms of the timetable, if you're interested, for the first week, we're going to have this introductory lecture. This will be on Teams. You should be able to see it already in your calendar. And for week 1, the only other session we're going to have is this discussion session on Friday at 10 a.m. Apart from that, I would encourage you to get in touch if you have any questions. Go through the videos that will be available, the extra slides that you have available, and most of all, read and explore the lecture notes or the Physics 263 book. Now in week 12, the feedback sessions will start. So this will take place here. For week 12, this feedback session will not really be about getting feedback on what you did. So we'll focus more on Kahoot and get you a chance to ask questions about the worksheet you're doing, and also make sure that you're on track with the material. We're still going to have the discussion session. This is the only discussion session that will be in your timetable. But as I've mentioned before, I'm going to put in an optional discussion session that you should already see on Teams for those of you that think that will be beneficial. So this is mostly to make sure that you have an extra chance to ask questions in case something happens and you can't make it to the other online discussion session, or if you really have questions about the worksheet that you're doing. And I hope that this session is really helpful, and I promise that I'll get better at moving through the slides in real time. From weeks 13 to 15, the timetable stays the same. So we're still going to have the optional discussion session, also this feedback session, and the only compulsory discussion session on Teams. The big difference is that for these 3 weeks, you're going to have a deadline at 11 a.m. on Monday. There's obviously no prize for submitting exactly at the deadline, so there's no problem at all with submitting it early, but it is important to remember that the deadline for 263 will be on weeks 13, 14, and 15 for the 3 worksheets, and that because of the feedback session on Wednesday morning, if you submit it later than that, you will get no credit.